Hello and welcome to the 16th episode of the magazine monologues. The article is going to be coming from the June 2021? Yes, Travel+Leisure edition. Headline Summer Escapes. The title of the article is absolutely Ile De Re. I'm certain I got that wrong. It's a French island, so however you would say Ile-De-Re in French, that's what it is. It was written by Thomas Chatterton Williams, which normally if they give me a name, I will at least Google and try to figure out like senior writer or editor or journalist or anything, right? I can't do that in The Economist. They don't give me authors. Pretty much everything else does. I didn't really see much about him anywhere, so he was not like a regular writer for Travel+Leisure, I believe. But I did see is that he had written at least 2 other books. I saw like a 2-line blurb about him on a website called American Scholar. The only reason I know it's him is because it said that Thomas Chatterton Williams, I assume that's a pretty unique name, but also lives in Paris, France. This is about a man who lives in Paris, France, so I assume they're the same person. All that to say is I'm not certain how or why he ended up writing this article. I want to be upfront about a couple things. 2 things, really. 2 reasons I did not like this article. Reason 1 is it kind of just reads like an ad telling you like, oh, if you visit Ile De Re, whatever, I'm just going to say the Isle from now on. If you visit, you should eat here or stay here or see this, which is cool. I mean, that's fine. There's no real depth, though. It's just like a paragraph of this ice cream thing that I went to is great. A paragraph of riding a bike with one of my kids. Paragraph of going to see a fortification, like things like that. And just wasn't a lot of depth. It was just basically you could condense it onto bullet points and you'd be fine. Even I'll see if I can find it real fast and I'll show you or try to show you. In the second page, this page, it even just has this, like this is it. It tells you where you should eat. There's a website for all of them. Where you should stay, there's a website. Could be good. For me, it was a net negative because, again, there was no depth. I could Google where to stay on the Isle or where to eat. I would be more interested in the experience as opposed to just boom, 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 boom. That's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is a magazine thing. The first 5 or 6 pages of the article are sequential. That makes sense. You turn the page, you're at the next one, turn the page. And then for whatever reason, at the very end, it's page 70 to 76, give or take, on page 76 or 77 or whatever it is, it says, continued on page 101. I'm like, why did you do that? It was just weird. I did not like it at all. I mean, obviously I can find page 101 and finish it, but it just cut the flow. I didn't love it. So I want to get that out in the air first of all. But what is the article actually about? So the article is about this small island off of the coast of France called Ile De Re, forget my pronunciation. And it's initially, so the very first night, it's just this man by himself. The next 3 nights, his wife and 2 kids come to join him. I believe he has 1 son and 1 daughter. They are younger, by the way, so keep that in perspective here. Like, the activities he's talking about are generally what it sounds like younger kids. I don't think he gave ages, but considering that like they had a pull-along chariot for a bike and a tandem for their older kid, it makes me think that like one kid is 4-ish and another kid is maybe 7 or 8-ish, something like that. But I could be wrong. So the first night, and then the 3 nights, his family's there. He talked kind of a little bit about like the history of the Isle. So with the COVID pandemic, a lot of people coming from urban areas like Paris or Bordeaux or other places in France that are large cities, the wealthier individuals who could afford to leave, which has happened in this is not France only, everywhere in the US this happened. I actually remember in March of last year when it first happened, there was an interview with a billionaire who was social distancing on his yacht in like the South Pacific. Okay, I wish I was doing that, cool. But all that to say is you had wealthier individuals from Paris, Bordeaux, other cities that would go to more remote places like the Isle. So I believe the number that they had, and I should have double checked this, is 20,000 permanent residents, and then 4,000 people basically fled the pandemic and came to the Isle semi-long term. This was just a 4-night stay, though, for this family, which they had moved out of Paris to somewhere else. I didn't remember because it wasn't terribly important to me, but they were no longer in Paris. They'd moved out to some more rural area, and they were at the Isle for a 4-day vacation last year in the 2020s. I believe it was last year. It could have been in 2021, but no, it was August. It was August of 2020. I'm remembering now. But all that to say, so some of the events that happened. There was an ice cream tasting that his wife and kids missed because their travel got delayed. Cool. Like, he talked about how good the ice cream flavors are. We like ice cream. I mean, I don't want to bash too much here, right? But, like, yes, I like ice cream. There were some unique things. There were good things that were added. There is a seasonal oyster-flavored ice cream, which could be very interesting. The writer said that it was the best ice cream in France, which, given that he's lived in France he's originally American, but he's lived in France for a while, he's traveled around. I don't know why I would disbelieve that. There are things that I think are the best in America that are maybe disagreeable, but they're probably, I think everyone who would agree that they're good. Like, if you like ice cream. If you don't like ice cream, you're just a weirdo, and that's whatever. Some of the other activities is when his kids were there, they did a big bike ride. There's 68 miles of path on the island. It's not a terribly large island, by the way. It's quite small. But 68 miles of path. So they had a tandem bike with the older kid and a bike chariot that was a pull-along for the younger kid. They looked at a bunch of the older medieval fortifications. There was something called a dry moat, which my understanding... I'd never heard of a dry moat till this, but my understanding is coming in from the ocean, there's like a bulwark, and it's so you can't really see that there is a dry moat, and so it's just a big pit or a big trench. And so, in theory, troops could go in there, but if you could shoot a cannon, you could then crush the bulwark and flood the pit, and all the troops would, presumably drown. Mostly because it's probably pretty hard to swim in armor, is my guess. So that was apparently very ingenious. I don't know if that's unique, but the author really thought that, and the engineer had a name, some French medieval engineer that I'm forgetting, but really thought that guy was brilliant. What else was there? They talk about some good restaurants to have. Basically, this right here is an airplane magazine, right? We've all been on those. That's 100% what this is. It's not bad. It has its place. Luckily, this only cost me $5 for a year subscription. I will look at it periodically, the front cover makes this look like a really cool beach. I'll find the beach and I'll read about it and be like, oh, okay, and I'll get some ideas. They have nice pictures. The articles were not as substantive as I would have liked. But yeah, so last episode, I said that the next one would probably be National Geographic. I can confirm that the next episode is going to be National Geographic. Mostly because I think that there's a very interesting article in the current edition of National Geographic. It's teaser. It's about whales and how whales, dolphins, and actually some other species have unique cultural aspects. And there's a whole discussion of does culture require intelligence? And it's just this fascinating article. But yeah, so I will see you guys next time. Thank you.